Is anybody out there? Anybody?
We are College Hill Farm.
Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Today we're continuing our series on casual and complementary prepping to talk about something that kind of fits within the current situation we're in. It's hard to find hand sanitizer, cleaning wipes, disinfecting wipes, those kinds of things. So today I want to talk about what you can do when you can't get your hands on those kinds of things. Today we're in a big time of change. We've got a virus that's spreading in the United States. Some of our states have already gone to lockdown. And what do we do if we need to clean, if we need to sanitize? What do? We've got to go out and go to work, but we don't need to be touching our face. We need to be sanitizing stuff. We need to be sanitizing our hands. We need to be wiping stuff off that we handle. We need to be cleaning stuff up either around the house or anywhere. But this could be any kind of SHTF, not just the current one. That kind of stuff is going to get gone real easy anyway. So if you didn't prepare for that, there might be some things that you need to do to know what you can do instead. So that's what we're going to talk about as alternatives. The very first thing we want to talk about is a hand sanitizer. Well, hand sanitizers are good only if they're above 65% alcohol content. Now, that's a lot. When you look at alcohol, like they make these rubs, these, I don't know what to call them, but they're kind of like a liniment rub, and their alcohol content's only 50%, and some people are buying that thinking that they can use that on their hands. 50% is insufficient to kill a virus. Your stuff needs to be at least 65% according to the Centers for Disease Control. So if you've got to have that, well, if you can find it, good old isopropyl alcohol. This is 70% isopropyl. You can take that, pour a little in a Ziploc bag, and put you a rag down in there, and let that rag get good and soaked. And when you need to have a hand sanitizer, reach down there, grab that rag and squeeze it a couple times, and wipe your hands. Now, according to the CDC, you have to do that for between 25 and 30 seconds for it to be effective. All right, 25 and 30 seconds. So that's one of the things that you can do for a hand sanitizer. There's another option other than isopropyl. People will ask, can I use booze? Well, let's talk about ethyl alcohol for a minute, because that's what booze is made out of. There are a lot of different alcohols, okay, but the most common one we see is isopropyl, ethyl, which is what booze is made out of, and methyl alcohol, which is made from wood, is a wood alcohol. But what we're going to talk about are these two. Methyl alcohol has some bad stuff, so you really don't want to fool with that. Isopropyl or booze. Well, you could have this kind of booze, and it's probably not going to be sufficient. Remember, it has to be 65% or better. This is 70% isopropyl. Well, this is only 80 proof. So what does that mean? It means it's 40% alcohol. So this wouldn't be sufficient. Same way here. A lot of your regular alcohols, and I like stuff that's bottled in Kentucky, because our distillers are making hand sanitizer as I speak. So that's the way our industry is jumping in to help. But this is only 80 proof, so it's 40% alcohol. There are brands that you can do that. But let's talk about ethyl alcohol and what it can do and what it can't do. Can I use booze as hand sanitizer? Well, the answer to that is maybe. Okay? Maybe. It all depends on the alcohol content, like I showed you just a second ago. It all depends on the alcohol content. But ethyl alcohol is real good at killing viruses. It's not as good at killing bacterial spores. And some bacteria thrive in low alcohol content things. Vinegar is made by bacteria converting alcohol to acetic acid. Okay? So low things, 6%, wine and stuff, you could never use that to sanitize anything. That won't sanitize anything either. Okay? The viruses and the bacteria would just live right through it. They won't like it, but they'd live through it. So what can you use ethyl alcohol for? Well, you can use ethyl alcohol pretty much for everything that you can use this, but just know that it won't kill some bacterial spores. Okay? But in our current situation, ethyl alcohol will be just fine as long as you're above 65% by volume. Okay, this is 70% by volume. Above 65% is good. So I'm going to stick with alcoholic beverages that are above 150 proof. That are 150 proof or above. Because 150 proof would mean it was 75% alcohol by weight. Alright? So some common ones that are available here in the United States, Bacardi 151, Everclear 190. It's 95% alcohol. So Golden Grain 190 is 95% alcohol. John Crow Batty Rum is 160, so it's 80% alcohol. So you could use all of those as a hand sanitizer and use them just like you would isopropyl alcohol. Now, the pure grains and things like that are 190, and some of them are even higher. Some of them go up to 198. Some of the ones that come in, there's a couple of vodkas and different things. But you could even dilute those a little bit. But be careful when you dilute, because it drops the percentages really, really fast. You're better off to use it raw. Okay? I wouldn't dilute that at all. At 70% alcohol, no, I'd use it straight. I wouldn't add nothing to it. I might add a drop of baby oil per a bottle, but that would be about it. Something for give you a little scent. Now, that's hand sanitizers. Again, you can take a rag, put it in a bag, reach in the bag, squeeze that rag a little bit, and zip it back closed, and do your hands. And the alcohol needs to stay unevaporated totally for 25 to 30 seconds. Alright, we've talked about hand sanitizer and what you can do as an option. Now let's talk about generalized cleaning. Well, I'm just going to tell you, hospitals have specialty cleaners, but nothing kills germs better than good old-fashioned bleach. Bleach is awesome stuff. Here's an example, and it says right on the jug, kills 99.9% of germs, and it would kill the current virus that we're having problems with. Now, when you get a bleach like this, you want to get it at least 5% bleach. Some of them are 6, but at least 5%, and because that's the dilution rates that we're going to talk about. And you don't have to use it straight. You know, if you put bleach on your hands, you're not going to like it. It will oxidize your hands just as fast as it oxidizes those bacteria and viruses and molds. So you got to be prepared for that. Anytime you're working with bleach, you need to wear hand protection. I know we pour it in our washing machine all the time and don't do nothing with our hands. But if you're going to be mixing it and you're going to be in it for an extended period of time, you really ought to put gloves on and something to protect your eyes. Now, and do it in a well-ventilated area. Now, for the next safety thing, never mix bleach with anything. Let me say that one more time. Never mix bleach with anything. Because what happens when you mix bleach with other things like ammonia or household cleaners, things like that, it releases something called chlorine gas. Chlorine gas and all those halogen gases over there on the periodic table from your high school chemistry, all of those are poison. You don't want to breathe them. They will destroy your lungs. One lungful could put you down. Okay, so never, never, never mix anything with bleach but water. That's it. Good, fresh water. Okay, now, if you want to sanitize surfaces and clean surfaces, according to the CDC, they recommend 1 cup of bleach for 5 gallons of water. In 5 gallons of water, and you'll be able to clean stuff. Well, 5 gallons of water is 80 cups. Okay? So it's 1 cup to 79 cups of water. So if you think about that, that solution is good for 24 hours. 24. Just 24 hours. Not 4 or 5 days, not a week. It's not going to last that long. So who of us in the prepper community are going to use 5 gallons worth of bleach water unless we're cleaning up after a flood or something like that? Now, I could see how we could do it if we were cleaning up, shoveling out our basement or something after there had been a flood and there was mud down there, and get all that shoveled out and then you bleach it all down. I could see that. But for the most part, you're not going to do that. Let's say we want to make a spray bottle's worth, or a quart. A good old mason jar that's a quart. How much bleach do I need to put in that in order to make what the CDC recommends? Well, the truth is the CDC recommends 1 tablespoon of bleach, which is ½ an ounce, per quart of water. But now the Department of Health and Human Services says 2 tablespoons. And they're doing recommendations for cleaning around where kids are, sanitizing, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to say, yeah, that's probably right. You probably ought to use 2 tablespoons per quart of water. Now you can put that in a spray bottle, or you can just use your gloves and put it in a bowl and wash your countertops and those kinds of things with it, and it will kill 99.9% of the germs out there. If Clorox don't kill it, you better run for the hills. Pretty much. So you've got this Clorox, you've got it mixed up. How long does it have to sit on the surface? Because none of this stuff is immediate. Remember our alcohol. The alcohol took 25 to 30 minutes, 25 to 30 seconds, I'm sorry. 25 to 30 seconds, not minutes. 25 to 30 seconds wiping your hands. So the Clorox takes about 30 seconds to a minute of being on the surface of something in order to kill all of the viruses and bacteria that are there. So you can use that as a cleaning solution. It always pays to have a little bit of extra Clorox as a prepper, stashed back somewhere. But now, Clorox loses strength. Don't get to thinking that it doesn't. A 5% solution of Clorox will be down to half strength by the 2nd year. Okay, it'll only be a 2.5%, and you'll have to use 4 tablespoons. So you can't get it and just hang on to it in your preps and think, oh, I'm good. My Clorox is going to be there forever. No, don't think of it that way. Now, my grandmother, she used to pour a cup of Clorox. She had a hand-dug well, so it was surface water. She used to pour a cup of Clorox down in that well pretty regular. Well, I don't know if it was enough to do much for her well. But it tastes like Clorox. And if you're going to do stuff like that, you really should go to the CDC website and look at what they suggest for sterilizing water, because it's a whole different world from what the old timers will tell you. So 2 tablespoons in a quart of water will sanitize almost anything. Now, if you like this stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homesteading stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. And if you hit the little bell, it will notify you when we upload a video. we upload videos every Sunday. And with that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing.